Hi, Nick Houston here for Gotham Sound and Communications. We're live at NAB 2023. I'm here with Tobias. I'm not even going to try and pronounce your last name, but from Sennheiser. You pronounce your last name.
Von Allwoerden, but you don't need to repeat it.
No, it's good. Fun. It was perfect. Just the way you said it, I wouldn't change a thing. So today, we're showing off that this was launched today. Is that right? Or yesterday?
Yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday. So this was launched at NAB. This is the Sennheiser EWDP, and you told me what it stands for.
Evolution Wireless Digital Portable.
Great.
So that is basically the digital successor of the very successful G4 P sets, which we all know, the 112P, and is the final puzzle piece in the whole new Evolution Wireless Digital world. So we launched Evolution Wireless Digital, we launched Evolution Wireless Digital X, and this is now the portable set. Digital UHF, so it brings all the advantages of a digital transmission to it.
Now you said it was 400 kilohertz channel spacing.
Yes.
So that's nice and small,
Yeah.
so you can just stack them together. And then what's the tuning range on it?
The tuning range is 56 megahertz on one device. We have several ranges up to even 1.8 gigahertz range. And it comes in the same sets basically like we know them from the G4P set. So there's a handheld set, there's a body pack set, and we even have a plug-on transmitter, a new one.
Great. So these are the form factors on the body pack, the handheld, and is this a capsule-based system so you can put any Sennheiser capsule on it?
Yes, exactly.
Great.
It's interchangeable.
Yep. And then one thing that I thought was interesting, there's a couple of things interesting about this in particular. There's no screen, right? So there's no screen. So how do you program it?
You don't need to program anything. This was basically one of the big challenges and things we wanted to optimize from the predecessor. You don't need to do any settings on the transmitter. So everything is done from the receiver. We got rid of the infrared sync, so the sync is done over Bluetooth. So there's no need to actually bring them close. You just need to be in some kind of range. You press sync on the transmitter, you press sync on the receiver, and you're good to go. Done. I think one thing that is really worth mentioning is the dynamic range, which is really high. So it has a range of 134 dB. It's a really large window. And another benefit is no need to set any sensitivity on the transmitter. All is done from the receiver.
Yeah, great.
And that gives a big, headroom which you did not have before.
And so the other thing that was really interesting here to me was the battery. So it can be used with AA batteries like we normally would, but it also has this rechargeable battery.
Yes. So that's the BA70, which was introduced with the series. It's the same rechargeable battery that works on the portable receiver and on all transmitters. And as you mentioned, every device can be also used with AA batteries. The good thing on this BA70 rechargeable is the runtime, of course, you get out of this is much longer. So we are looking at between 7 and 8 hours on the receiver and 12 hours on the transmitters, so that should be plenty. And due to the intelligence of the battery, you can see it on the screen. You can read out the battery runtime in hours and minutes. So it's not like you have to, look at percentages or at bars. You really see, I don't know, I have 6 hours and 45 minutes left.
And will it do the same reading of that with AA's, or it's only with that particular battery?
That is something which only comes with a rechargeable battery, but as the rechargeable is part of the set, when you buy a whole set, you at least have a rechargeable battery also with it. And it can be recharged in the receiver. So we have a USB-C connection which can power the receiver but also recharge it. But there's also, if you have more batteries to charge, we also have tabletop chargers which can charge the BA70.
So that is a new feature also, to have the external power option, so that if you're using it in a bag, or using it on a camera and you want to power it externally, just USB-C from theoretically a distro. The other thing that I thought was cool and new and different, a lot like the 500 series where you have the headphone port on it. You now have the output port and the headphone port
exactly
on this, so you can listen to it directly.
So we took, and you mentioned it, and that's right, we took a lot of the 500 features down to the price point of the 100p features. The same for the SKP, which we're probably going to talk in a minute about. And we put a big amount of effort in really making it as easy to use as possible, so that it's a really large OLED display. There are no abbreviation in the menus. You really can read out the menu. It clearly says what it's meant for. We have a notification wizard, so in case there's an error coming up, like a clipping or a blocked frequency, the system will notify you. And it will not only notify you, it will bring a solution to you. So, for instance, if it's clipping, reduce your gain, and it directly brings you into the menu to reduce the gain. Everything which can be monitored and set from the receiver can be also monitored and set from an app. The Smart Assist app, which already is out, is also capable of doing settings and monitoring everything.
Great. And so let's talk a little bit about this before we get deeper into the receiver. So I did notice that as you talk about the SKP 500, I mean, this also has phantom power, which the 100 did not.
Right.
So this is an upgrade as well. And tell me what's going on here, because there are a lot of things that I'm now noticing that are different.
So as you mentioned, phantom power is now also included in that price point of the 100 plug-on transmitter. But one thing which a lot of customers ask us, they want security in case of a dropout of the signal or anything. So we integrated a micro SD card slot and a record button. So it records to a micro SD card in 24-bit 48 kilohertz, which you can use for backup, or you can do audio-only recording. So in case you don't need picture or you don't have a receiver, you can just go, press record, and do audio-only recordings. And the second thing is, we thought, okay, this is the first transmitter we're actually doing now, which has this recording function. Maybe it's also interesting for people to utilize this as a kind of body pack, but the body pack doesn't have recording as of now, so why not include a lav connector? So I can plug on a lav here and use the SKP like a body pack with the option of recording my audio as well.
That's it. So will it record and transmit when it has a lav plugged into?
It does.
Wow, that's neat. So that's really a multi-function transmitter, and let's just compare the form factor, because it really is, it's a little bit bigger. It's not that much bigger. It's slimmer. Sorry for the mess here. It's a little slimmer that way. And a little bit, I'm really not doing a great job here.
Size-wise, I don't have a G4 transmitter now with me, but size-wise, the belt pack has kind of the same outline, but it's much thinner than the G4 transmitters. And people who know the G4 transmitters, they know that the transmitter and the receiver had the same form factor. So the receiver, if you put it on top of the new EWDP receiver, has the same size. It's maybe even a little bit bigger, so the new EWDP is a little bit slimmer. But the outline is the same, just the orientation of the display has changed, and there's an additional antenna.
Well, nice that you can orient the antennas as well, so that depending on how you've got the receiver oriented.
It will never obstruct, and depending, and that maybe is a nice bridge to another thing which we improved. People asked us, please find new ways of mounting the receiver, because always or most of the receivers are just adopting to the cold shoe, right? So we thought, why not include a magnetic cheese plate, which adopts to, all these kind of rigs we can see. So there are screws and a hex key also included. There's a belt clip which can even go in here, and there's of course also still a hot shoe mount. And depending on your environment, you can mount the plate, and then you've just seen it. That's really the clue. The receiver itself is magnetic, so if I'm done and this is maybe already fixed, I just put the receiver on top here, and I'm ready to go.
Stack them.
You can stack them. You can do a second one here, and this is really, it will not come off. It will probably, you will break your camera before you break the receiver.
That sounds terrifying. What else? It feels like this does so much more. Diversity antennas. That's different as well, where previously there was only one antenna.
There was only one
receiver.
antenna, so it's a switching diversity. It's not a true diversity. That, to be honest, needs to be mentioned. But you have a much bigger reliability because of two antennas and the system which intelligently can choose between where the signal is best.
And so what is the price point on these?
The price point is, as I mentioned, the same sets like you know them from the former P sets, is $699 for a receiver and a body pack transmitter or a handheld together with the 835 capsule. There's much more in the package. Like mentioned, there's the cheese plate, all the mounting options. We deliver it with a 3.5mm TRS cable as well as a 3.52 XLR cable in the box. So there's a lot more. And of course the rechargeable battery is also included. And then we have the ENG kit, which is consisting out of the receiver, the body pack transmitter, and the plug-on. That is at $899. And the single devices, of course, can be also ordered individually. $349 for the receiver, $299 for the transmitters, and $349 for the plug-on. The plug-on, other way around, the sets with the handheld or the body pack are available from today.
Oh, wow.
You can order it. The plug-on takes a little bit more time. That will be ready in the second half of this year.
Great. Okay. So we're going to open it up to questions from the internet now. So while we get those questions ready, I do want to ask you, just comparatively to the G4, in terms of sound quality and in terms of range, what could one expect?
So one big aim was that we need to at least offer the same level of reliability and robustness like we know it from G4. Because that's what G4 is known for and what made the big success out of it. So you get the same, if not even better range out of this device than from a G4. So let's say it's G4, we said about 100 meters or more, depending on the environment. Of course, in this kind of environment, probably less. If you're outside, then more. Sound quality, of course, much better, much improved because it's digital. We use we are not forced to use any analog compound anymore, so you have a much better sound quality, more crispness, and and then, like you mentioned, we brought down all the features from the 500 down to the 100, bigger package, and all the benefits which comes on top due to the fact that it's now digital.
Got it. Okay. Great. Lauren, what questions do we have for Tobias?
Sure, we got lots of questions coming in on the chat. The first one is there any plans for a more bag-friendly or body pack-style receiver with the antennas on top of the same side of the screen?
Yeah, good that this is the first question. It's true, the aim was really to target the main customer group like we target also with the 112P sets. And that's true, you either can't see the display or you have the antennas on the back. So yes, we are working on something more soundbag friendly as a bigger brother, to say so. There are options, of course, and I think I mentioned that for the cheese plate, we also have a belt clip in the package. So there are ways to mount it in a soundbag, probably not the way like you really would stick it in there, but on the side or on the rim of the soundbag, that's possible. But really to aim the soundbag users, there are plans to have something which goes into that direction.
Well, and the other thing you already mentioned was that the app to control it is that if you can be looking at your phone and controlling everything in your bag without having to see the screen.
True. That is true. So that is one big benefit which you don't have on the G4P sets. Of course, you could use them in the bag, but also you had the antennas on the top, but you could not look at the display.
You have to slide it out.
Yeah, you had to slide it out,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. So this is, of course, not needed here. If you use the app, you can do any change of setting from the app. You do not need to actually see the display or move anything of the buttons.
Great. What other questions do we have?
Are the antennas remotable on the receiver?
No, the antenna concept is the same like with the 112P, so they are fixed. They are fully movable, 360 degrees in every direction. But for, same story for a more bigger brother and a sound bag use, of course, a removable antenna then is kind of a mandatory thing.
Great. Okay, next.
And the new receivers output at line level, or is it just mic level?
You can set what type of level you want. So we try to set it on the same output level like people are familiar with from the 112P sets, because we asked our users and the customers, do you change, the gain setting, the output setting on the G4? And they said, I never touched it. It's fine. So the default situation is the same like with 112P, but you have a range to move it from mic to line level.
Mm-hmm. Great.
What is considered line level in terms of dB?
Oh, I need to check that.
Yeah, we would have to check on what the dB is, but if it's similar, it probably, for certain line level inputs, it would need a little bit of a boost.
Yeah.
What other questions do we have from the internet?
How long does the 48-volt phantom power last on the handheld transmitter?
Good question.
The 48 volt power on the handheld.
Yeah, when the plug-in's on.
Of course, 48 volt power needs or drains the battery additionally. So if you have 48 volts active and maybe also the recording, you will see a little bit of less runtime. This, by the way, and we need to be fair, the 12 hours you're not getting out of the SKP, you're getting out of the handheld and the body pack. This we are looking at 6-ish hours.
Okay.
As I mentioned, this is not done yet. It will be ready by second half of this year, and then we know better how the runtimes are. We are still in improvement, but that's around the runtime we're looking at. So 6-ish hours on a fully charged BA70.
Got it. Okay, what else, Lauren?
Are the batteries removable?
The batteries are removable, yes. So this is clearly a set with no internal batteries, so I can remove the battery, of course, here from the plug-on, and maybe if Peter is moving over to the receivers, the batteries are stored here and can be removed from the side. So no fixed batteries in this set, because we know this is aiming for filmmakers, for E&G, for high-end content creators. They need rechargeable, removable batteries.
Or double A's.
Or double A's in case you're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. What else, Lauren?
I think you may have already went over this one, but just again as a refresher, what are the power options for both the RX and the TX?
Got it. So, I mean, we're talking about batteries for the transmitters, right? They're all battery powered. There's no external power, right?
They meant in milliwatts.
Oh, we didn't talk about that. What are the milliwatt? What is it output on the transmitters?
Ooh, the output on the I think we are in the same range because it's digital. There's nothing, you cannot change it.
Right.
It's fixed, and you cannot compare it to the milliwatt situation like we know it from analog systems, like where you can change between 50 milliwatts or 25 milliwatts. So I need to be fair. I need to check what the exact milliwatt output is. I think we are also on 10 milliwatts here. But yeah.
But whatever it is,
but
whatever it is, the range in the digital milliwatts is comparable to the previous version.
That's
or
maybe
more.
the more important thing, because usually people think more milliwatts means more range.
Right.
This is not really comparable, and as mentioned, it's the same range, if not even more. Actually, it's more than on the analog sets. Is possible here.
Great. All right, Lauren. What else?
Do the transmitters work with the EK6402 slot receiver?
Oh, interesting one. This is also not the first time I hear this. No. How do I get around this?
That's fine.
So
not yet.
How's that? Not yet.
Uh-huh.
There might be possibilities to make this possible. The question really is, does it make sense for the EK6042, or does it make more sense for a like we already talked about, a bigger brother
Yep.
to really, because I can tell you the thing is, as I explained, there's no infrared sync anymore. So if we would make them,
There'd be no way to control it.
there will be no way to control it. You would definitely need the app or some way of manually entering the frequency. So it's not really convenient. It would be a workaround. So
Yeah.
the EK6042 would be able to receive it, but there's no way to automatically sync it. So it's maybe there are better ways.
Okay. What else, Lauren?
That was it.
Brilliant. Okay. Oh, Peter has a question.
1.9 milliseconds.
1.9 milliseconds latency. Perfect. All right. Well, wonderful questions, except that last one. Kidding, Peter. Tobias, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It was really
Thank you.
great. We're really excited about the EWDP. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned for a few more videos coming here, NAB 2023.